Alrighty, we are now at bars 3 and 4. And so I would say, these first 4 bars, what you learned in the last video and what you're about to learn, these are things that are kind of set. They're not going to have a whole lot of variation. They set the music into motion properly. And then it's going to be a little bit more of that varied jazz guitar thing where I might do different variations with chord voicings. Okay, so let's do the second phrase. This is similar to the first phrase. I suggest planting 3 fingers here. And I go, but now I do that with my 3rd and 4th finger, and then with my 3rd finger there. And we land on a G minor chord there. Actually, it's all you need is all I really play is the bass note and the D. And if something else happens to fill in, that's nice, but it's not necessary. And then I try to play that 3rd string. Again, that's already accompaniment because the melody is, that's the melody, so that's accompaniment, okay? Now, ba ba, that's the next melody note. Bum, 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 dun, dun, dun. Okay. And then it's going to go to a C7, but I do something kind of jazzy here to try to get the rhythm to punch a little bit more, because I can get a little more oomph rhythmically on these chords. So let me show you what I'm going to do for these melodies. This ba ba. I play what's called a D flat 7 sharp 11 chord, and either I'll strum it or I will pluck the chord. I'm actually plucking it 1st string, 3rd string, 5th string. This is my own flavor of steel string weirdness, the way I'm plucking this, because I can hear all the strings, even the ones I'm not touching. And the melody comes out very nicely, so I don't have to get a finger on each string. Okay, and then I move 2, 3, and 4 down. I play this directly on the 2nd fret. And I get a C7, which is actually C9, but with E on the top. So it's going to look like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay. Now, one has to be careful with this A ringing over, because it shouldn't sound like a G minor 9 chord. That D is really the melody, so it's, that's the melody. So that's, one must exercise caution with how loud the A is. Just make sure as the melody, you can hear ba 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 ba. So if the A gets cut, it's okay. I'm still playing with that. That's nice and clear. That starts to sound maybe like a mistake. Okay. Okay. Now we're still in bar 6, and we're going to go up to 5th position. The melody then goes ba ba, and what I'm hearing here is E in the bass on a C chord going to, so we get some nice motion. That's the the C chord, even though it doesn't look like a C chord. And then we're going to fill that in. Okay. And again, how this is filled in exactly, I just have I'm looking at the sheet on the floor. I only concern myself with the outer voices. And if I get a little something in the middle, that's nice, but it's not my main objective. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play bars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, of the tune. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay. Nice thing about this C7 chord is the high E string is still ringing, so we have time to get there. Okay, let's go to the next video and do bars 7 and 8. All right. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to do bars 7 and 8 of The Shadow of Your Smile, my arrangement. We left off on an F major 7 chord, and now I sort of try to grab this C as my accompaniment note, because watch what we're going to do. We're going to go leave the first finger so that melody note is ringing, go to B in the bass, and C is going to go up a fret to C sharp. So we got, and then we're going to go to a B flat major 7. It's actually B flat major 7 sharp 11 if you want to get fancy, but don't worry about that. All you got to do is leave that first finger on the barred on the 5th fret, first 3 strings. D and G string, 7th fret. Okay. So what you want to see here, it looks like a bunch of jazz chords, I know, but I'm seeing 3 moving parts. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm going, those are 3 voices: melody, bass, middle. Melody stays, melody, bass, middle. And then melody, bass, middle. So it's going. Okay, and then what's happening is, due to the sloppiness of the right hand, I'm allowing notes in between those strings to kind of act as filler. And so on first glance, or on a surface level, they look like chords. But if you were to pick the meat away from the skeleton that you would find is this. Or, okay. So let me sort of play it for you in motion now, okay? From bar 5, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Okay, so you saw that. I went a little further. Now, the next pickup, ba, 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 which you heard me hint at, it's technically in bar 8, so we're going to look at that right now. Okay, so if our rhythm, let's say we're at this slightly slower tempo, we're going blink, bling, blink, bling, blink, bling, blink, bling, blink. Ba, bum, 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 chick, gong, gong, gong. Okay, that's one level of the rhythm, right? Bang, 2, 3, 4, chicku, 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 chicku. Those are the eighth notes. And then very often in this arrangement, I hint at the 12/8 or the triplets. So it's like ting, ting, chicka, chicka, ting, ding. Go bam, bam, babu, bang, chicku, 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 chicku. You see how it's like a sort of a different paradigm that's got to be in the mix. It's happening at the same time. So you might want to just practice counting the rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and then ching ching chicka 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 bang bang chicka chicka boom boom chicka chicka chicka. That's active also. It's like another. It's not like, it technically is another frequency happening at the same time. I come right in on beat number 3 with a. That's how I finger it too. I go. Okay, so it sounds like this when it's in forward motion. Let me do it at tempo for you, sort of at tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2. The snapping didn't get slower or faster. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Gong, gong. Bag-a-dang. So it's very important that you can keep a steady tempo with your foot, or the way you're feeling the tempo, and shift between the triplets or the straight eighth notes. Okay, so let's go on to the next video, which is going to be bars 9 and 10 of the tune. All right. All right, we are back. We're at bars 9 and 10 of The Shadow of Your Smile. And I sort of adds a little bit of jazziness to the melody that is not really part of the melody in this part. The original melody, I believe that's it. Basically, in this video, we're going to have ba 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 ba, an E minor 7 flat 5. Don't let that scare you. It's this sound, barring the top 3 strings at the 3rd fret with an E, going to A7 flat 9, ba 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 ba. So we're going to have melody lines that outline those chord changes. So here's what I do, coming from the last video. 1, 2. So you're going to have a low E hit at the same time as that G. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now watch what I do. I'm landing on the 2nd finger, and I carefully, with the 1st finger over here, I try to let that ring, and I try to grab. So I'm not barring it the way I showed you before. I'm playing 2nd finger and then 1st finger. Just playing those 2. Now watch. We're going to do as the melody. So that's 1. You're barring the top 3 strings. 2nd, 5th fret, okay? And then what I do, just to add some interest and try to slip a little Johann Sebastian Bach in there, I go like this. Then when we get to this one, I add the C sharp in the bass. Come back to a D, good old D minor chord. happen to be holding a bar on the first finger. It's because I just slide it down. So now I sometimes syncopate where the bass is hitting. Let me play it in rhythm so you can see where the bass is hitting compared to the melody. 1 and 2 and 3. So this first one, I'm hitting on the and of 4, the melody. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See that? And then I'm hitting these two together. It really doesn't make sense until you hear it in time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, now I'm actually using a finger to stroke that whole D minor chord. Now, you know what? We're at bars 11 and 12. So I'm going to save the info for the next video. How's about I play the tune from the beginning until this point? And you know, I think I said this in the intro. The more familiar you are with the tune, the more you will understand what I am doing, because there's all kinds of little variations and details which you can change. The main thing to get out of this is the interaction and attention to the melody and the bass line, and the forward flow of those two, and then you grab the middle however you can grab it. Okay, so I'm going to take it from the beginning of the tune. Bum, 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 ba. From there, okay? Let me do it a little slower. 1, 2, Okay. Alrighty, let's go on to bars 11 and 12. All right. All right, we are back with bars 11 and 12 of The Shadow of Your Smile. We left off here at a D minor chord. And what I like to try to sneak in, since that chord is just sitting there, not doing a whole lot, I want to sneak in a little bit of some harmonic interest. And so I do the good old James Bond. I'm going to try to hint at this inner voice doing that. Now that might be in the middle of a whole lot of strumming, but those are my top, middle, and bottom. That's the architecture that I'm holding in mind. And I may throw some A bass notes in there. This is a spot where it's going to be a little different every time. Let me show you the chord voicings, though, that I might do. So, and I tend to like to bar that, even though I don't have to. I very often bar the top two strings, and then I'm going to try to do this. It doesn't have to be very loud, the inner voice, but it's just a little bit of spice to make that D minor chord swim a little bit more. Okay, so if I cover what we did in the last video, here we go. Actually, you know, I do this fingering because it's smoother coming out of there. I slide that first finger up. It's pretty stretchy, but that's what I tend to do. Okay, so you saw. Okay. Now with the same rhythm, this 12/8 thing that we did that propelled us in the last video, I do something that sounds like bum, 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 bum. Those are the notes, A, G, except it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, chickadee, 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 1, 2, bing, 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 chickadee, bing, 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 ding, chickadee, bing, bang, bang, ding. Okay. Again, that's this other layer of rhythm that is helping me deepen the feel. So let's take it from there. 1, 2. And I'm going to land with a good old B here in the bass. B natural. So I'm going 4, 1. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go on to bars 13 and 14 of the tune. All right. All right, we are back. This is bars 13 and 14 of my arrangement of The Shadow of Your Smile. We landed on what's going to be, it's called a B minor 7 flat 5 chord. We landed on an F melody note and a B natural bass note. And I have this thing that I learned from a Dizzy Gillespie tune. I'll show you what it is. Normally, the note that would fit this is this A. That would suggest the chord B minor 7 flat 5. There's still one note missing. But you can do something kind of dissonant but neat. And, you know, this is going to bring us to E7. You start a fret above on what's called a major 7th. So hear that? That's kind of a bizarro note. Okay. And then we're going to end up what looks like a D chord at the first fret, but with E in the bass. And if you hit a D string, that's fine. That's called E13 flat 9. Okay, I know it sounds pretty jazzy and it's pretty dissonant, but when you hear it in the flow, the melody notes all seem to lay very organically. Okay, and then after that, I have a thing called an A sus flat 9 that I play. I have a weird fingering. Maybe there's another way for you to do it. I play it like this. But I have long fingers and I have a sort of a unique technique. The way I would recommend, if my way gives you any trouble, is just do it like this. Play an E here, and then I'm putting my thumb over the top to mute the E string. That will have the exact same effect. So you really don't have to play my version of it. That's just comfortable for me. Play it like that if you're a little unsure. Okay? And then I do a stab of an A octave. Just, I don't know if your hands are big enough for that. If they're not, just see if you can maybe grab two of those, either those two or the outer two. Again, I have big hands and a pretty good stretch, so I don't want you to strain yourself doing things that are easy for me to do, or I should say relatively easy. So let me play you now bars 13, 14, 15, and 16. And in bar 16, we're going to have the pickup to the second half of the song, which is that thing again. Let's start at this, where we started in this video, at the B minor 7 flat 5. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. And you'll notice there, I played the chord that I suggested for you to just show you that it'll sound exactly the same. One more time, same spot. 1, 2, bang, bang, bang. And then it's going to go into the second 16 bars of the tune. Okay, so what I'll do now, I will play from the beginning of the tune, not the intro, but the beginning of the tune to the point that we are at. So you can see it all kind of hang together. And I'm going to try to go slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And then we're at the second half. Okay, let's go to the next video and look at the section that I'm going to call A2. So it's like A1 is 16 bars, A2 is 16 bars. We're going to start at the next 16 bar section. All right. All righty. You've made it through the first A section of the tune. That's excellent. We're going to start the second A section right now. And in this video, we're going to do bars 1 through 4. Because guess what? Now material is going to start to repeat itself. Not everything's going to be new. So these first 4 bars are identical. Okay? So I'm going to come out of the last section that we did in the last video, and I will play you the first 4 bars until we get to the G minor 7. That thing at the 3rd fret, okay? 1, 2. Here we go, A2. It's all the same. Okay, that was bar 5 where that G minor hit. So the first 4 bars are the same. Let's go on to the next video and do bars 5 and 6. I know this was a short video, but I'm just trying to stick to 2 bars per video. All right. All right, we are back. Now I lied to you at the end of the last video. I said that we were going to do bars 5 and 6. We're actually going to do bars 5 through 8 of this second A section in this video because it's just a couple of chords. It's not very complicated, at least to me. Okay, so the melody changes when we go to the G minor 7. That's all the same, but now watch. We're going to do... So let me show you what that is. Barring at the 4th fret. I'm playing the pinky on the 6th fret, and then just barring at the 3rd fret. So you might not hear it when I do it that slow, but the variation in melody, the first time we did the G minor 7, back in the last section we went ba ba. Now we're doing bum bum bum. Okay, and that's the departure point of where this section starts to become different and lead to a kind of a finale. Notes get higher, it gets more dramatic all around. Okay, so we have this. I'm just going to show you the chords first. Next chord is going to be a B flat 7, sharp 11, which basically means 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, and an open D string and E string. And then we're going to have A minor 7 flat 5, but I do something kind of tricky. I do like what looks like a just straight up C minor chord. So I'm barring the top 3 at the 8th fret, and then I'm playing 4th string, 10th fret, and adding an open A. Okay. And then a quick strum on what looks like a diminished, it's D7 flat 9. Now this is not ideal, the way I'm going from this chord with a nice bass note to that with no D in the bass. That's not really ideal. However, it's with sort of that rhythmic, percussive, big band arranger consideration that I want that chord to be short and go rip. And so it's easier to cut off if I'm fretting every note. Maybe and I didn't just want a D7 chord that's too bland a color. I wanted that jazzy flat 9 in there. So I just showed you a bunch of sort of cut apart chords. Let me put them in the flow for you right now, because then if you know the melody of the tune, if you're familiar with it, which I suggest you become familiar with it if you're not, you'll hear how these chord voicings I've just shown you, you'll hear how they support the melody note. Okay, so I'm going to go from ba 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 ba, where it lands on the G minor. This is bars 5 through 8 of the 2nd A section. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I might not do this, fill up this rhythm like that. I probably wouldn't fill it up like that in a real performance. But with these sustaining chord voicings, you can allow there to be some looseness and filling up of the rhythm in a way that you can express the rhythm. It doesn't have to be just chords ringing. You know, you might go... And so that's one of those things that can be a little bit different each time, the way you express it. Much the way that a drummer might not do the exact same drum fill every night. The raw melody is bum 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 dum bum bum ba. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so we have a lot of wiggle room in there. So right now, I'm going to do bars 1 through 8 of the second A section for you. I'm going to try to do it slowly, okay? 1 through 4 was a real short video, and now I've shown you 5 through 8. So here we go. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. All right. Let's go on to bars. I think it's going to be 9 and 10 in the next video. 9 and 10 of the second A section. All right. 9 and 10 of the second A section. All right. All righty. We are at bars 8 and 9 of the Shadow of Your Smile. And this is a section where a lot of variation is possible. So I'm going to show you a few different approaches here. And based on your playing, your guitar setup, and just what feels comfortable to you, you'll have to choose. If you have the right musical idea, you'll be good to go. And you'll figure out a way. So this is where we come to the high point in the melody. This is kind of a nice spot. Good melodies often have one very high point, the way a mountain range in a far off distance will have one high peak. And we're going to reach that peak when we hit this D melody note here. So we've been doing this sort of triplet phrasing with the 1, 2, bling, bling, big, bam. We've been doing that kind of thing. And so we're going to do that here. The melody notes are going to be, without any rhythm, D, C, B flat, A, and then we're going to land on a G minor 7 chord. Okay, so let me show you how I do this. I'm going to start from here. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Now notice what I've done. I got this left hand finger, first finger ready with the bar at the 10th fret, and I'm only barring the top string, and then I'm going to go. So the whole time I'm ready for the bar, but I'm not pushing all 6 strings down. And then, when I need to, I'm going to play those, the 5th and the 2nd string. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so it's going to sound like... Now there's a couple of different things that can now happen. The melody is going to go... That's the melody, ba, ba, ba. You could play that all here. Okay. Or, if you're comfortable doing it, you could play it down here at the 3rd fret. That's going to allow for a deeper bass note and some richer transitional stuff. But if you can't do it here. This is one of these spots. There's a few different ways to do it. Okay. Another possibility is if you don't like the bar, you could, after the strum here, watch. I'm doing pinky, slide down, and then play the G string here, and very carefully with the left hand be muting the B string. Because that's not a note that you want to have ringing. You don't want that. And then you can get to that a little bit more easily. Wah, ba, 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 ba. Okay, so you're going to have to get that melody. And you're going to have to figure out, is it more comfortable down here or is it more comfortable up here? Now, if you're playing up here, sometimes I switch up the bass note. So that's the melody right there, and I'm going bass, bass. And then you're going to go to the 6th fret barring on a B flat minor 9 chord or a minor 7 chord. If you do it down here, this, I like to do this while holding that. You see, so I'm going while that melody note is sustaining. Some sort of something like that. Again, this is an issue of comfort and whatever will enable you to play the melody in the most singing way possible. Okay, so then at the 6th fret, you're either going to hammer, ba, or you can just pluck it. And you can put a trill there. So I like doing it like that. 2, 1, 3, because then you're going to need to get to some 5th fret bar stuff. So you don't want to do this because you'll be out of position. Quite simply, the melody sounds like this. Okay. But we're having to fit all this chordal stuff under it, which makes it hairy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play from the A minor 7 flat 5 for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, something that I left out is I actually put an E flat in the bass there. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that when I go there. So it's, when I add that note. My eyes failed me. I couldn't see it on the floor. One more time. Okay, and we're going to take it from there in the next video. That's bars 11 and 12. All right.